Today we're going to look around this farm here. We live on a farm outside Lovettsville, Virginia. And we run a place here. It's the old carriage house, apparently. And I'm not sure if you can see it here. But yeah, it's an old stone building. But we're going to explore the other buildings here on the farm. It was built 1810, and I'll show that later. And it's a nice quiet place right now. They're doing a development in front of it, so it might become a little bit noisier in the future, but it's a large lot development, so it ought to be manageable anyways. But have fun watching this video. There's a lot of neat details here, a lot of history here, and stay tuned here for further views of everything. So I'm just walking around the property right now. And I tried to make this video before, but it was too windy, and today is very calm, so I might try to mix in some of my former videos that aren't so ridden by noise in the background. Down here you can see up over the hillside there is the back farm field. There's some development up there. And this is the front of the house here, the main house. It was built 1810. And it's still in very good condition. It's kind of neat looking at the wall in front of it. But this was the front of the house at one time. And beside it here, you can see all these other outbuildings. We'll go look at those. But back in, I'm not sure what year it was, but it was a long time ago, probably at least 150 years ago. There was a road down here along Dutchman's Creek. And they named it Dutchman's Creek because the original settlers here in Lovettsville were German. And when they recorded their deeds for their houses, they would consider them Dutchmen. And down here is the old spring house. This place is riddled with black snakes in summertime. My neighbor had 6 of them in her basement just last year. This place here is pretty neat. They put a new surround in the front of it here. And you can see there's still the original vent here, let air in and out of the whole place. Now back here, that's where the water exited. There's like it looks like a jail there. A lot of people come out here and they try to metal detect, but apparently there's been droves of people that came out here and nothing's really been found. It's kind of disappointing. You think that the place is 200 years old, you find something, but here's inside the spring house here. There's the upstairs there. I'm not sure what they did there, probably stored food or grain or I don't know. This is down here. There's like an interesting circular area here. I'm not sure if that's for like a crock or something at one time, or food preserving. But the nice thing right now, it's so cool now, I don't think there should be any snakes or anything in here. Okay, we're in the spring house now. It has this big beam here. The upstairs, the floorboards are all missing, but and they cemented the floor at some point. And this water trough here, this is where people would put their crocks to keep things cold inside of crocks. And there's a window there that we saw outside. And that gel-looking type window. Up here you can still see the old knob and tube wiring. According to some people, that was the most safest type of electricity, but when it gets to be 100 years old, I don't think it's safe anymore. But it's pretty neat down here. This area over here, it kind of looks like there's like a seam down through here, so I'm thinking there might have been an entrance to this. There's the spring house in this area here at one point, but I don't know. Going back out here. operating on limited daylight right now, so I'm trying to get around here pretty quick. See, nice little complex of buildings here. There's a barn up there. And there's a small like garage there. That was not in the. It was moved down the driveway, according to my neighbor. And these two buildings here were like. I think the one up there, the top one, might have been the servants' quarters. And then the one in the bottom here, I think the neighbor told me it was the salt house. There's probably a lot of different things these buildings were used for back then, but they're pretty neat. I'll show you something neat up here. There's a snake skin in the stone wall. So you can see this building needs a lot of repointing right now. Oh, here it is. There's a snake skin. Black snake. Luckily, there's not very many poisonous snakes down here. And then we're right in front of the house here now. Old stone wall. And this would have been the front yard at one time. Get this way here. This is the walkway down to the basement of this building. It's a pretty neat structure. My neighbor here, she's like going in the basement because there's so many snake skins and everything else. In the summertime, it's just a plague. Luckily, we didn't experience any snakes in our place, but we have cats now, so maybe they'll drive them away. This is the upper part of the building here. Pretty neat. I don't want to go in Ann's place, but it's pretty neat in there too. There's an old fireplace in there. You can tell it's, someone lived in there. And then that's where I live. It's the old carriage house. They made it into an apartment. It has like 2 foot thick stone walls all through it, so I feel pretty secure if we get like a tornado or a bad storm or something. And we're back up here in front of the building. We decorated for Christmas a little bit. So straight ahead here, this is the whole back end of the farm, or front end of the farm now. The main road's up that way. But they're going to put in 13 new $500,000 houses up there. And there's the old outbuilding there that was moved. This is like a whole like secondary, like this is a kind of weird structure here, but this is pretty common on barns down in this area. I'm not sure. Gonna take a look at it real quick. So, if you look at this here, look at that old latch. Pretty neat. This is used for storage right now, but I think it was like a grain bin at one time. Corn. Hopefully there's nothing up here living right now. Just a big open space now. You see these old beams here. They're all hand hewn. cut by hand with a hatchet. I'm not sure when the barn was built. The house was built 1810 for sure. The barn was probably built around the same time, but to me, I'm not really sure if it dates from that period or not. It might be later. Get around all this stuff. Turn it back up. This is the back of the barn here. They're getting ready to fix the barn, I think, because it's really showing some major structural issues. And I'm actually kind of a little bit afraid even walking in here, but I don't think we'll get anywhere though. It's been here so long. So this is the basement of the barn. There's timbers up here, barking them still. Some bees nests up there. There's stuff like buried around underneath the hay bales too. Pretty neat. So, this is one classical indication this was built by Germans. They're very good structural engineers. So this is the front entrance of the barn. So it gets like the most load coming into the barn with tractors and everything else. And they actually reinforced the wall here, this abutment, giving that support there too. But you see that a lot in German construction. They overkilled the engineering. It's probably why the barn's still standing today. It's getting dark here. So we're upstairs now. They still do cut hay out here. And I don't know if you can see it there. It's getting pretty dark in here. An old wagon wheel back there. But I'm sure at some point this barn is probably full of the ceiling with hay. Here's another one of these neat little iron things here. Who knows, that could be from 1810. I don't think it is by the look of the door. It might have been recycled from another old door. Then in here, here's an old set of wagon wheels. And a bunch of stuff from the house, old windows, and the barn has electricity over there. Looks like a 220, a 200 service. It's pretty neat. Here are the old shutters from the front of the house up there, stowed away out here in the barn. So we're gonna try to get out of here. Luckily, there's not very much activity out here at this time of year because it's so cold. It's not really cold right now. It's probably like 30 degrees, but this is interesting here. What this was. See, it's kind of like a hole in the wall there, but it's below ground level. At one time, it must have did something, but. There's a knob and tube switch. Don't want to mess around with it. It might be live, who knows. We're getting ready to fix the barn. They got these big jacks out here right now. This was some type of area here. Probably had a roof on it. It's probably like a big exercise yard for cattle at one time. Here's the front of the barn. And this was the back of the house, and now it's the front of the house. You could tell it was the back because the middle window is lower. That's part of the staircase system in the house. So it probably comes up, I have been in the house, but it probably comes up to the landing and then it goes up to the second floor after the landing. The house was built in 1810 by, I'm not sure who it was built by, but the farm is classified, or I guess described as being the Eliza George Myers Farm, which is connected to George Mills. There's another historic property about a mile away. And it was a relative of that family. And our current landlord out here is a descendant from that family. There's all types of old plants around here. Hopefully my neighbors don't come out and wonder what I'm doing here, walking around with the camera, but it's pretty neat out here. I'll show you the cornerstone in the house here. This is the back into the house. And then here is where we know it's from 1810. There's an old foundation over here too. I'm wondering if this was like the old outhouse or what it was, but it's full of water, the whole thing. The well house is down the other side of the property, so I'm not really sure what that was for, but we have deer running off here. Way back there through the woods, there's a old dry pond basin, kind of like a holding area for water. And then we're back to where we started, so there's a barn there, big house, and then that smaller garage-looking building, the smaller red building, used to stand apparently up by where that van is right there, and they moved it later on. It's kind of neat out here. They have all these big old boxwoods. According to the owner of the property, he and his brother planted them, so they're not that old, but when I first saw them, I thought maybe they might have been a lot older than that, but so, walk around a little bit more here. It's pretty neat there. There's the front porch. There's a second story up there. And there's a door out to the top balcony. I don't want to film the house. I don't want to feel like I'm a voyeur, but I know them. They're good people, so I can explain later. I found a whole bunch of stuff that blew away. We get an incredible amount of wind out here, and everything blows around. I'm not sure why. It might be because of the mountain up there. It's a short mountain, and it was a very active area back in the Civil War. There was Civil War encampment here on the farm or somewhere nearby, and then that mountain ridge up there, short mountain, was used by General. I'm not sure if it's General Mosby or Mosby. And there's a whole Mosby heritage area down here. And at one point during the Civil War, he was captured and held captive in a barn, and it was only like a mile away from here. And they said that he was up on that mountain ridge there. And there's a cave up there, a cave that he hid in. Someday I'd like to try to find out where that is and try to find it. But the sunsets out here are always so nice with that ridge there. There's another view, this side of the house there. I can walk through my place here too. I can't promise it's all cleaned up, but it's all modern, updated. This used to be a big barn for a carriage. It was a carriage house, so they probably worked on equipment here and everything else, but they have it all fixed out as a house now. Here's my Christmas tree. And Jessica's cows. So there you go. There's a tour of the Myers / Kenna farm out here. And it's actually Elvan. There's a community out here. This is Lovettsville zip code, but this little community is called Elvan, Virginia. And back in the day, back around the turn of the century, there was a post office out here, and it no longer exists there now. So, but the people around the area, they know when you say you're from Elvan, they know you're from out in the boondocks behind Lovettsville. So, taking a brief intermission here. Neighbors' dogs, they want to go out for a walk. We're getting on the farmland right now, up towards the development. Pulling me along here. This is the new model lot here at the farm. This is all going to be developed here. Be 13 houses. You can see there's the water well, and the farm's way back there. We're like a quarter of a mile away from the farm here. And the dogs out here are having fun walking around the community, or lack thereof right now. And way out far in the distance there you can see Lovettsville. Right now, just me and my two neighbors, we have this all to ourselves, for the minute being. By this time next year, there'll probably be 13 houses up here. But this was a big old farm here. This is the back 40, as you'd call it. And the sunset's getting down a little bit now, but it's so nice down here. It's nice in PA too, but it's different down here, I think. I don't know. It might be because of the mountain beside me there, but there's a construction area here. Okay, dogs. You ready to go back home? They're upset they're missing their radio program right now. They listen to radio all day. Anyways, we're on our way back.